Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. October 13th, 2017.
First it's Obamacare, and now Hollywood begins to unravel in a major way. My friends, let me put it to you this way, and this is how I mentioned it to Brittany in our pre-show meeting. What the sex abuse scandal was to the Catholic Church, I now believe something very similar is happening in Hollywood, whereby you had revelations of sexual assault, molestation, whatever, and it started with a couple of priests, and before you knew it, it went everywhere. It was like a pandemic. This is now something that is like happening as well in Hollywood. And so it began with the downfall of Harvey Weinstein. Now, however, it is going everywhere. It is touching other directors, other moguls, other top Hollywood actors. Everybody now is slowly becoming implicated in this culture of sexual harassment and rape. So here is now the absolute latest. As you know, Harvey Weinstein has been accused of rape by 3 women. Numerous actresses have now come out and claimed that he harassed them, molested them, etc. Weinstein has been fired. The FBI is now probing whether to file charges. So is the NYPD. And believe it or not, so is Scotland Yard, because now he may have committed crimes in Britain, in the United Kingdom. However, you now have other major directors and stars that are being implicated. The the head of the studio for Amazon has now been implicated as well in a sexual harassment allegation. Oliver Stone, listen to this. Oliver Stone is now in big trouble, the famous liberal director. According now to a former Playboy playmate, she says that 26 years ago at a party, Oliver Stone just walked up to her. People were having drinks. They were just talking. It was a social gathering. He had a big grin on his face. She was then 22 years of age. And he just grabbed her breast. As she put it, quote unquote, he honked it like a horn. And then he just walked away and smiled. And she said, because this is Hollywood, and Oliver Stone was so powerful, everybody saw it, and nobody said a thing. It was almost like he just put a couple of ice cubes in his drink, and he just kept right on walking. No, nothing to see here. She says this kind of culture is rampant, it is prevalent, it is everywhere. So, it's not just now Harvey Weinstein, Oliver Stone, the head of Amazon, the studio head, but now it appears it's starting to affect many actors as well. One of them is Boston's own Ben Affleck. And as you know, Ben Affleck is a huge liberal. He's a mega liberal who likes to donate a lot of money. Well, Ben Affleck was caught groping in 2003 at the MTV Awards on stage actress Hillary Burton. I mean, he grabbed her everywhere. He grabbed her up high. He grabbed her up low. All this guy did was grab and grope. He has now apologized, allegedly, for that behavior. The problem, however, is that now another person has come out. And she is now alleging, she's a makeup artist. Her name is Anna Marie Tendler. She is now alleging that 3 years ago at the Golden Globes Award, how do I say this? This is a family show. He walked up to her and, you know, they're just, again, at a soiree, they're just talking, and he just grabbed her rear end, grabbed her butt, and then, how do I say this? Let his fingers afterwards do the talking. So, and then other women who were there have come out and said, you know, I thought I was the only one he did that to, but he did the exact same thing to me. He grabbed my butt and he just, with his fingers, how do I say? He got a handful. Let's just put it that way. So it's getting now to the point, I swear to you, that now his new nickname, as you know, he plays the Batman character in Hollywood. He did a previous film playing Batman, and now he's scheduled, another film is about to come out in about 5 weeks. He plays Batman in that one called the Justice League. Well, now his new nickname on social media is Buttman. I mean, that's his new nickname. And so, by the way, that movie looks like could be delayed. The premiere of that movie could be delayed because all of these very serious allegations swirling around Ben Affleck. If he's not careful, there could be charges. So, here is exactly what took place. So, it's coming out that Ben Affleck, Buttman, was grabbing women, and one of them I mentioned was Hillary Burton, grabbed her breasts, apparently, right there on MTV. Then Ben Affleck tweeted out, "I acted inappropriately toward Miss Burton, and I sincerely apologize." However, the moment he apologized on Twitter, Anna Marie Tendler, that's the makeup artist, "Well, I would also love to get an apology from Ben Affleck, who grabbed my butt at a Golden Globes party in 2014. He walked by me, cupped my butt, and I don't even get into the details about where he put his fingers. You get it. And then she says, I guess he tried to play it like he was politely moving me out of the way. And oops, touched my butt instead of my lower back." And then, I kid you not, other women start coming out, and they're saying, whoa, 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 whoa. He did the exact same thing to me. So, what is now happening is this culture of rape, this culture of sexual abuse and sexual harassment, is now being exposed, again, like the sex abuse scandal in the Catholic Church. But it's getting even worse. And frankly, some of these stories just really, I mean, this is disgusting, piggish behavior, don't get me wrong. But some of these other stories, it's diabolical. I mean, it's truly diabolical. Rose McGowan, who I have to give her credit, I don't care for her politics, but she has really blown the whistle on this. And she has refused to let this go. Has now come out and accused Harvey Weinstein of having raped her. Kate Beckinsale, famous actress, says that when she was 17 years of age, Harvey Weinstein, she's underage, deliberately got her liquored up, gave her booze, and then sexually exploited her. I mean, this goes on and on and on and on about the number of women, about how prevalent this was, how often it took place, how everybody knew about it, nobody said a thing, and in fact, they not just turned a blind eye, they were directly enabling not just Harvey Weinstein, but all of them. Oliver Stone. It's now, I mean, the actors and actresses that are now the actors and directors, forgive me, that are now being named. I mean, the question now is, who in Hollywood wasn't groping, harassing women? That's the question now. Who didn't do it? Now, why is this important? I think really, honestly, for 3 reasons. Number one, Hollywood is a cultural and moral sewer. And this is what we conservatives have been saying now for decades. And they are finally being exposed. Exposed for the utter degenerates that they are. The second point, and I think you can't underestimate this point, Hollywood loves to wag its finger. It is maybe the most hypocritical, self-righteous, two-faced place on the planet. So there is always Hollywood lecturing us, the American people, how sexist we are. how misogynist we are, how racist we are, how intolerant we are. And yet look at their behavior. They're like a bunch of animals. And how they destroy women, and how they use women, and frankly how a lot of women allow this to be done to them in order to advance their own sordid careers. This is not an example to my daughter. This is not an example to my wife. This is not an example to the women that I know about what you do to advance in your career or how you're supposed to treat a lady and a woman. But I think the biggest point is this, and that's why you're just seeing the beginning of the reverberations of this. This is not just cultural. This is political. The political aftershocks are now just beginning to be felt. Hillary Clinton was a very close friend with Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein donated millions and millions of dollars to the Democratic National Committee, to Hillary Clinton, to Bill Clinton, to the Clinton Foundation, to Michelle Obama, to Barack Obama. The Obamas knew him very well. They took his money. They couldn't stop taking his money. The Clintons knew him, and they couldn't stop taking his money. Everybody knew what kind of a monster he was. Everybody knew how he was a serial sexual predator, and yet they deliberately turned a blind eye. Everybody knew it. And Meryl Streep is lying now. She says she didn't know. She knew. When Ben Affleck first came out and defended Harvey Weinstein, you know why he's defending Harvey Weinstein? Because he engaged in very similar behavior himself. We now find out that Matt Damon deliberately called on behalf of Harvey Weinstein to kill a story in 2004. They called the New York Times to deliberately kill that story so the truth about Harvey Weinstein would not be exposed. How many women would not have been damaged or raped or assaulted had this man been stopped 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago? And yet you had the likes of Matt Damon, Russell Crowe, I can run down the whole list, literally calling up newspapers and getting stories killed to cover up and protect Harvey Weinstein. And this is the same Matt Damon who lectures us on the gall of us that voted for Trump. In fact, the argument that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Meryl Streep and all of them are making is, you Trump supporters, you voted for a supposed sexual harasser. Well, what did he do? The Billy Bush tape. The Access Hollywood tape. Look at those words. Oh, how could you vote for somebody who would say those things? Forget words. You defended, protected, shielded, and covered up for a man who wasn't talking about grabbing him by the you-know-where. He was physically grabbing him by the you-know-where. You phony, you frauds, you. But is Hillary going to give back the money? Are the Obamas going to give back the money? Because they raked in millions and millions and millions in donations from the likes of Harvey Weinstein and Oliver Stone and Ben Affleck, and I could run down the whole list. So not only did they take his money then and said nothing, now when everybody knows, many of them are refusing to give back the money or give it to a charity or donate it to a worthy cause. Which now brings me to Ben Affleck and the chief, Elizabeth Warren. Ben Affleck has donated over $10,000 to Senator Elizabeth Warren, okay, to Pocahontas. And so my question now to Pocahontas is a very simple one. You say you believe in women's equality. You say you believe in female empowerment. You say you believe that you stand with the victims of sexual harassment. Okay, very simple. You're going to return the money that Ben Affleck gave you? That we know of, he gave Elizabeth Warren at least $10,000 in campaign donations. You're gonna donate the money, Chief? You're going to donate the money or you're going to keep the money. And Representative Jeff Deal, State Rep Deal, who's going to challenge her next year for the Senate seat, is now asking the very same question. Because if she claims to defend the rights of women, and if she claims to be against the powers that be and the abusive behavior of the 1%, very simple. Give back the money or give it or donate it. He's openly calling on her to give her money away to some charity or donate the funds, all $10,000. And I'm telling you, she won't do it. Because deep down, and let's be candid now, everybody knew about Harvey Weinstein. Elizabeth Warren knew, Hillary Clinton knew, Barack Hussein Obama knew, and I'll tell you something else. All you have to do is follow Ben Affleck's career, and you knew exactly what kind of a man he was. It was there for everybody to see. And yet she still took his money. Not only did she take his money, she did photo ops with him. She championed him. She gloried in his attention and in her attention and approval of him. It was a classic, I scratch you, you scratch me. And so I am now putting Elizabeth Warren on the spot. I'm asking you point blank, will you give back the money that you took from Ben Affleck? 617-266-6868. Let's go to Bill in Falmouth. Go ahead, Bill.
Hello, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. First of all, I agree with you with these people in Hollywood. I mean, it's common knowledge that's gone on for decades. But what I don't agree with is you give Trump a pass. He admitted what he did, and you're saying it's not a big deal.
Well, what did he admit?
He admitted he grabbed these women by the P word.
No, he said, if you listen to the tape, what he said was, these women are insane. They will let you grab them. That's all he said.
So you're saying that he said, not me?
No, Bill, what he said was, if you listen, I mean, I listened to the tape like I think 50 times. What he said was he was bragging, or he was engaged in locker room talk about how groupies behave. It was about groupies. And he said, these women are insane. They're crazy. You know, just they'll throw themselves all over you. If you want to grab them by the you-know-where, they'll let you grab them by the you-know-where. So what that was there's no accusation against him that he grabbed them, that he molested them, that he harassed them, that he did any of this. It's just a guy shooting his mouth off on a bus with Billy Bush. In fact, if you want, I can play you the tape right now.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab him by the You can do anything.
He's just shooting his mouth off.
Well, that's what you say. I don't think he was shooting his mouth up. I think he was bragging.
Well, okay, then where are the women?
I don't know where they are.
Well, that's the point.
I mean, how many women have... I mean, this is going on in Hollywood is one thing, but... So you give Trump a pass, and I don't give him a pass.
I'll tell you this. No, Bill, I mean, I'll give him a pass because it's words. If I see actions, I definitely won't give him a pass. That I can guarantee you. But my point is, look, here you have women on the record saying Harvey Weinstein raped me. Here you have women coming on the record saying he assaulted me, he grabbed me, he took me to his home, like Kate Beckinsale. He gave me alcohol when I was 17 and then basically had his way with me. By the way, that's statutory rape. That's sex with an underage minor. Okay? But let that go. You don't have women saying, hey, you know what? Trump raped me. Hey, you know what? I mean, he just, he pulled a Ben Affleck. He just started grabbing and his fingers were, he was shoving them, where. And no one has said that. So this is what I find remarkable. Is that we met him when we were in Washington for the inauguration. All these women with their pea hats. And they're all like, Trump's grabbing women by the you-know-where. I'm like, you can't find me one woman that grabbed him by the you-know-where, or that says he grabbed her by the you-know-where. But you defended Bill Clinton, who literally raped women or was accused of raping women, sexually assaulting women, and that Hillary covered it up. So, words on a tape equal actions in the minds of the left. But real actions mean nothing if they're done by Democrats. You see, this is the scandal that is now blowing up in front of their face. The very people who went after Trump were engaged in much more horrific, heinous, and frankly criminal behavior. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Everybody in Hollywood is throwing stones. And now their glass houses are collapsing around them. Kathy, you're up next. Go ahead, Kathy.
Jeff, I just wanted to say thank you to Franklin for his service. Also, I caught you at the end of the first segment where you were talking about President Trump and the changes he's making to health care.
Yes.
I'm a little confused because I heard somewhere that he was going to try to take control, or he was going to kind of back off the government and let the states take control of their own health care systems. However, being disabled, I have to watch these laws like constantly because I'm like $60 over the income limit, and they keep trying to terminate me, and I keep coming back to them and telling them I'm a protected class under the federal regulations. Now, if he does that, I don't have that protected class status anymore, and that means I will not have any coverage at all, and I will die. I need to have my medication. I have 6 chronic degenerative pain illnesses, and without anything, that's it for me. And I have 2 teenagers, and that's all. I'm all they have. So
Kathy, I'm sorry. You mean if the issue of health care is kicked to the states? Is that what you mean?
Exactly, because the states have an income limit, and they go by it, and they don't give you $1 more. So I'm $60 over, and they keep terminating me. And I have to go back to them in an appeal process and say, no, FMR regulation 501.001, and I have to go back to 73 to the Reagan Rehab Act. I have to go back to the ADA Act and also Obamacare. So with those 3, I'm under a protected class. However, what gets me is if you look under the protected class of citizens for federal health care, the very first one you see is illegal alien. And they are costing us, I think you've said before, $60 billion or something like that.
The state of Massachusetts, they're costing us $2 billion a year. Across the country, they're costing us $135 billion a year. So what's happening is that legal Americans like you are being shafted, screwed, denied services because so much of our resources have to go towards illegals. That's the dirty secret that the Democrats and the open borders Republicans don't want to confront. Now, if you want to see how bad it is, I've got a story for you. You are not going to believe this. Trust me. Don't touch that dial. Let's take it to Evan Heidrich in the news. Okay, my friends, 1:35 here on the great WRKO. You're not going to believe me. You're not going to believe me. I'm telling you, you're not. This is not a joke. This is not a spoof from The Onion. I swear to you, this is an actual liberal proposal that is going to be implemented right here. It's always us. If it's not California, it's always us, the People's Republic of Massachusetts. Okay? For the moonbats, I can't believe it. Just when you thought they couldn't go any crazier, they just went crazier. So, this Father, Son, Holy Ghost, I don't know what else to say. So, listen now to this. In the city of Salem, which, by the way, other cities now want to mimic. So for the moonbats, this is actually a role model. I'm not kidding. Okay, a very important precedent. The city of Salem now does not want you to just give money or cash to panhandlers. No. They want you to text the donations. Text the donations to the city of Salem, and then they will give the money to the panhandlers. I swear to you. So listen now to this. This is a mind blow. This is, So you've got, this is, by the way, from Moonbat Mayor Kim Driscoll, Uber Democrat. She's in big trouble. She may lose re-election in November. And one of the issues that's killing her is the crime epidemic that is sweeping Salem, the opiate epidemic. You've got heroin needles everywhere. And, of course, you've got panhandlers, especially on the main street, everywhere. So Kim Driscoll, the genius at City Hall in Salem, they have now come out with this initiative. It is called Change It. What is Change It? According to Salem Mayor Kim Driscoll, they're announcing a partnership between the city of Salem with LifeBridge, North Shore Community Action Programs, North Shore Community Health Center, and the Salem Police Department. Yeah, LifeBridge is where the homeless people stay, just so that you know. So it's basically a homeless shelter, okay? So they've launched something called Change It, which is now this is a panhandling alternative giving initiative. So what they want now is they don't want you to give actual money. You know, you got some person with their cap out or whatever, lying on the streets or lying on the sidewalk. You know, usually you could tell a drug addict or an alcoholic. And there they are, could you give me some change? Instead of giving 25 cents or $1 or whatever it is, no. They don't like that. They don't like that. They don't want you to see the panhandlers, the result of their failed policies. No. They want you to cut the government a check, or in this case, to text it. Text them a donation. So what they want is, it's called text to give, according to Mayor Driscoll. And so what they're going to do is you text, let's say $5, and then the proceeds, I swear to God, they go to this partnership in which the city government, along with LifeBridge, are going to hire outreach workers, help police patrols, and give the money to the panhandlers. And encourage the panhandlers, because now they control the money, not the panhandlers, and they tell the panhandlers, why don't you go to the homeless shelter? Why don't you don't stay on the street here. Why don't you panhandle over there? Don't panhandle over here. Just stay at LifeBridge. Just we control the money. And they're saying this way, they control the money, and maybe they can control the panhandlers from buying the drugs or buying the heroin or buying the booze. And so everybody is really excited about this. I'm not kidding. And the local mayor, I swear to God, is now saying they want a $5 donation. You just text to donate. So for all of you out there, if you want to just give your money to the city government and then have them give the money to the panhandlers, here's how you do it. You text Salem, SALEM, to 50555. So basically 50555. And they want a minimum donation of $5. You can give as much as you want. 10, 20, 50, 100, whatever. And so they're going to control the money. And then on top of that, listen to this. They've looped in Salem businesses and restaurants. So after you've donated at least $5, then you can show your email receipt or your text to one of these businesses that's going to have a decal participating in this program, and you're actually going to get a discount at your local eatery or at your local restaurant.
Why don't these local businesses and or restaurants just hire the homeless people, the people that need a job, so that maybe, we don't have to give them money and text money to the city government? How about that? Where these panhandlers are panhandling there on Highland Avenue, right next to a McDonald's, an IHOP, a CVS, a veterinary clinic, a car wash, a Pep Boys, a Market Basket, a Shaw's, a Taco Bell, a Burger King, a Home Depot, a Target. I can go on and on and on. There are places where you can get employed. Rather than take money from people, I don't know why people give them money, but they give them money, and they go back at Target and they shoot up. And then the cop's going to come, give them the Narcan, and then it's ridiculous. So how about we just help them and help them get jobs and everything, rather than the taxpayers, again, in Salem, have to bail these drug addicts out.
What they're now doing is, I like that, it's a bailout for the panhandlers and the drug addicts. So, what they're now doing, this is what the left now wants in Massachusetts. It's starting with Salem, but I'm telling you, it's coming to a community near you. It's coming. So they want the government now to be the middleman. So I don't give money to panhandlers. I just don't. I can see the money's going to go to drugs or booze or whatever. So I don't bother. But if you want to give money, that's your choice. It's your choice. So you see somebody in front of a McDonald's, say whatever, downtown Salem, let's say near the Shaws. By the way, just to show you how bad the problem is in Salem, law enforcement people have told me there is one panhandler in particular that they know of that literally you give them the money. They park out in a tent, by the way. Some of them actually have tents. They're just there forever. They park out in a tent. You give them enough cash. They then go, they go to the back of the Market Basket or the back of the Shaws, and then they shoot up. And there's one guy who has overdosed so many times that the police have come and saved his life with Narcan 72 times. They brought him back from death, from the brink, 72 times. Do you know how expensive Narcan is? Do you know how much this costs the police to keep going out, same guy, shooting up the same heroin, behind the same Shaws, with the same Narcan, and you just got to pump this guy up, save him, and he's back panhandling the next day. So what the government is now doing is they want your panhandling money. You don't just give it to the panhandler. No. Those days are over. You give the government the money, and then they administer your money. So what's happening is this. Say what you want. If I give a panhandler $1 or $2, right? It's my choice. If the panhandler uses it to get heroin and shoot up, that's his choice. But now the government is going to be giving panhandlers money, potentially, that they can then use for drugs or heroin. The government is actually now getting in the shooting up business. I know the thinking behind it, the intention is to try to get them off the street into a homeless shelter. I get it. But in reality, panhandlers are going to ask for the money. The government's going to have to give them the money. And what are you going to do? They're going to buy drugs with the money that we send to the city of Salem. I want you to think about that. Then they're going to take money off the top. You actually believe that the city of Salem, in the financial crunch that they're in, they're not going to take something for themselves? And they're going to hire new outreach workers, I guess, to talk to the panhandlers or whatever? This is unbelievable. So, if you live in Salem, I swear, I'm telling you, because you're going to see it, you're going to believe it when you see it. There's going to be signs going up everywhere in Salem, in parking garages, on the main street, everywhere, saying, don't give actual change to the panhandlers. No, change it. That's the initiative. Text the donations. Just text them in. You can write a check. They're going to set that up in a couple weeks. But even better, just text.
Do you truthfully believe that this is going to stop panhandlers
No.
from sitting outside of McDonald's?
No.
No way. So
No.
they're just going to make double what? I understand. And it's not just in Salem with the panhandlers that are taking the money to go with drugs. It's a lot of cities in Massachusetts and around Boston. But police officers, they get called to these panhandlers so often they have to keep a log. That's not just in Salem, it's in other cities too. They have to keep a log every time they kick them out for panhandling.
And then they go back in.
Then they go back, and then the police get called again, and they have to go back. I mean, wasting resources.
And then the Narcan. Don't forget all the Narcan.
And all that money with Narcan. I mean, there's a huge epidemic in Salem. Let's not deny it, folks. And we need to do something about it. And I'm sorry, but giving them money, no. Get them into a program that will help them become clean. And then so they can get a job and work and make their own money. I don't understand, what's so hard about this?
Because I'll tell you what's going on. You really want to fix Salem? Get rid of Kim Driscoll.
Oh, you think?
It's you want to help Salem? Get rid of Kim Driscoll. Vote her out. Okay? This election, vote her fat rear end out. Okay? But let that go. No. Again, they want the money from the donations, which is going to go into the city Democrats' pockets. And then the panhandlers are going to still going to get the money from panhandling. So now the government's getting involved in the panhandling business. I mean, honest to God, why? How come we never think of stuff like this, Brittany? No, really, I got to ask you, how come we never think of stuff like this? So how about public bathrooms? Maybe we should get involved with that or something. I mean, everybody's got to go. We got to find a way to monetize that, Brittany. I'm just saying. 617-266-6868. So it's the Kuhner Country poll question of the day, sponsored by Bill Kelly Financial Services. Is it a good idea to tax donations to the city government to pay for panhandlers? Do you think it's a good idea to be texting donations for the city government to handle that money and then give it to panhandlers? If you believe the answer is yes, text the letter A to 680-680. If, like me, this is maybe one of the craziest ideas I've ever heard of, text the letter B to 680-680. As always, you can vote online at WRKO.com. Lines are loaded. Ron in Brockton. Go ahead, Ron.
Hey, Jeff, I had something smart to say, but after you just said that guy was brought back 74 times, if you were in my shoes, you'd wish that was your son or daughter. They can't bring my daughter back.
Ron, if you don't mind me asking, what exactly happened to your daughter?
I lost her in 2009 from an overdose. But I'd pay anything to bring it back 100 times.
Ron, if you don't mind me asking...
Life's worth a lot more than money. I don't mind you asking me anything.
Ron, if you don't mind me asking, what with your daughter, how did she get into that whole lifestyle?
From the guy she was hanging around with, and by the time we knew it, we tried to get into a program. She went to jail. They didn't do nothing for her. She got out, and 2 days later, we lost her. But I'd give anything to buy her up 74 times.
Ron, I'm very sorry to hear that. Ron, as a father who lost a daughter to drugs, what do you make of this initiative? You think this is a good idea or a bad idea?
It depends on what they use it for. If they just tell them, we can only give you the money if you go into a program. Yeah, if they can help them, give them the money. If they can only use it for that. Don't just give them the money and let them go do what they want, because they don't know any better. They're sick. They're trying to get high or whatever they do with that shit.
Ron, thank you for that call. 617-266-6868 is the number. So basically, Kim Driscoll is now getting in the drug pushing business. Kim Driscoll is now becoming a drug pusher. 153 here on the great WRKO. Look, this is, I guess, how they roll with Kim Driscoll and the Democrats in Salem. So one of the texters is right. I called her a drug pusher. No, I stand corrected. She's a drug pimp. Because I'll tell you what she's doing. She's pimping out these panhandlers, using them and saying, now text us the money. Just don't give to them. Donate to us. We'll take care of your money. So you're right. She's a drug pimp. Now, let me ask Kim Driscoll this and her minions. Okay, all these Democrats that are driving Salem into the ground. What's the matter? You guys aren't pulling enough people over and giving them tickets? There's not enough way for you guys to generate revenue? So now you're going after the gulling people into thinking that, just donate $5, give $10. It's going to go straight to the panhandlers. Your money is safe with us. I mean, how stupid do you think we are? No, really, honestly.
I don't even think the panhandlers are aware that this is even going on because they're so doped up, Jeff. They don't even know this is going on.
No, I know. That's another thing. I think when they find out how much money they're going to be raising off of this, the panhandlers, she's going to have an army of protesters.
A couple of months back in the Salem News, there was an article about one of the panhandlers there, and he openly admitted that the money that he gets from panhandling goes to heroin.
Oh, of course. Well, I mean, just you walk on the street, you just see him. I mean, you can tell.
No, I know.
It's like The Walking Dead down there.
I know they're down there with no shoes on. They got these signs, but they have their Dunkin' Donuts coffee, just begging and pleading for cash.
No, I know. I mean,
and then they're pitching tents like in front of McDonald's.
No,
like,
I know.
what
Like
is
the Boy Scouts.
on
Like the
here?
Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Like they're going camping or something right there in downtown Salem.
Yeah.
And now these clowns in City Hall are saying, no, I'll tell you what, give us the money. Just text us the money. And Jared made a very good point. Young millennials are going to eat this up because it's everything what they love. It's faceless social justice. You don't have to talk to anybody. It's all on your phone. You text, they do no research. They have no idea where the money's going to go. And I bet I can see them on Instagram. Hey, look, Mommy, I'm such a good person. I'm giving Kim Driscoll $10. She says it's going to go to the panhandlers. Aren't I a great person?
It's pretty interesting that, this comes out in October, during Haunted Happenings,
Yes.
the full month, a couple of weeks before the election.
Just before the election.
Must be election season there for Kimmy.
617-266-6868. Matt, you're up next. Go ahead, Matt.
Hi, Jeff. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. I'd like to thank you as a truck driver for giving me something to look forward to every day. But I used to live and work in the same block that LifeBridge is, and it's a joke. It's a big racket. There's so many things wrong with that. And I love Salem. It was a fun place to live, but I'd never seen a pregnant woman smoking before, and it's pretty alarming, brazenly in the street. But I don't remember the panhandling be that bad. But what happened? The problem with LifeBridge is they kick them out during the day, supposedly to try to encourage them to go better themselves or whatever. But all they do is lounge around the post office, the square there in the post office, and then they'll come in. And they'll use EBT for everything, including buying bottles of cooking wine to get drunk off of. And then they have money for cigarettes. And also, one noteworthy thing is, there's 3 sex offenders that state that in the registry as their address, LifeBridge, and their smoking area has a sign that borders a playground, literally.
Oh, my God. Matt,
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that call, because they say they want to round up these panhandlers and throw them into that homeless shelter, LifeBridge. Now, Brittany's making a very good point. Forget a pregnant woman smoking a cigarette. Now in Salem, I'm not kidding, you have bums, these drunks, with vodka bottles. They're smashing each other over the head in front of the tourists. I swear, they're playing Star Wars, the lightsabers, with vodka bottles in front of the tourists.
But another thing, speaking of tourists, Jeff, she wants all the tourists to see we have a panhandler problem. Get all the tourists to donate to this, too.
Exactly.
Because this is when Salem is just jam-packed with people coming into the city.
Unbelievable. Oh, Donnie, I want to help these poor panhandlers, Donnie. Let's send $10 to Kim Driscoll. She's going to make sure the panhandlers get some soup and bread with that. Eddie and Quincy, we got a minute? Go ahead, Eddie.
Are you kidding me? Could you say middleman? Who's going to pay to put the signs up, Jeff?
That's us.
That's like the Clinton Foundation. It'd be $9 for the city and $1 for the bums.
Eddie, I think what you're trying to say is this is creative taxation. That's what this essentially is. I told you how these Democrats, they literally could get blood out of a stone. Kathy, you're up next. Go ahead, Kathy.
Hi, Jeff. Well, it's a city of no hate. But, the panhandling situation is so out of control. I'm so sick and tired of looking at these people begging for money. I'm down here in New Bedford, and every time I'm in New Bedford, all I see are people peeing all over the place. They're standing up peeing, and they walk back to the little spot, and they just collapse on the ground.
See, and that's great for the tourism. Look, Salem now is a great place to raise your kids. Great place to raise your kids.
The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 93.7 WEEI HD2 Lawrence, Boston. It's 2 o'clock.